Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. This is a live show we do every day at 10:30 Eastern Time, where I give my official picks to start things off. Two important things. First of all, thank you for everyone for the constructive comments and criticisms. I am definitely going to be trying to make an effort to speak more slowly and more clearly. I made some progress doing that last week. This week, though, I slipped back, a little bit of recidivism there.
Everybody thinks you're a cocaine fiend.
Yeah, and I think what it really is that first of all, I have this feeling that I should keep things going, keep things moving. You know what I mean? Because it's the age of the internet, and what I'm really trying to do here is appeal to millennials, and the millennials will click off of something like that.
True.
So I feel like in order to grab millennials and really get inside of them and hold their attention, I have to speak really fast, which is not something I should be doing. That's just a subconscious inclination that is wrong, that I'm going to try to correct. And thank you to everyone who's been reminding me of that. Constructive obviously positive comments. I love them. Maybe homo, but constructive criticism, definitely appreciate it. Thank you for the comments, and I'm going to make a concerted effort to try to speak more slowly going forward, and to speak more concisely and more clearly, and stop cutting myself off on my thoughts and all of that. And the second important thing, MLB contest, right, at Sportsbook review at SBRforum.com, which starts again June 1st, an MLB contest. It's a free contest. The prizes are bet points, which you can redeem at the SBR store for real-world products, as well as a selection of SBR swag, which will be prizes there. You can go to SBRforum.com to sign up and to find out all the details. And also, of course, I will be participating. Drew Martin will be participating. Jeff from BMOC Wins will be participating. So a lot of other people, I believe Donnie Rightside. Chances are one of us will have an embarrassing record, and that'll give you another opportunity to come in and slam us and say that, what are we doing? Who are we? We suck.
Yeah, we like to put ourselves out there for ridicule as much as possible.
Yes. And Matty DeSaro is, of course, behind the camera. He's the calm and collected voice behind the camera. And I don't know if anyone caught it yesterday, but we did a hot dog eating contest in honor of the actual hot dog eating contest that Nathan's does every year, which does have betting odds. And it was a relatively interesting video. Matty DeSaro, I learned a
lot about myself.
Yes, and Matty DeSaro, I'll just play spoiler right here, got beat pretty bad. Yes. His competition finished all 8. Matty was struggling by the
8. That's right, there was 8.
But I didn't want to say this at the time because I didn't want to stir up anything, because I eyeballed those hot dogs. Who applied the ketchup to those hot dogs?
Zach.
Okay, because I eyeballed the hot dogs, and from what I could see, maybe my angle was wrong. First of all, I knew immediately that the ketchup and hot dogs were going to be the deciding factor there.
I would have not made it far if I didn't have ketchup on those hot dogs.
Yeah.
They were pretty vile.
Really?
Yeah, that was the reason.
Because I thought
it would help with a little lubrication. Yeah.
Okay, so you
never want to just go and dry raw dog. Raw hot dog.
Right. So you requested more ketchup?
No. Well, he asked me how much I wanted. I said, don't be shy.
Okay. Because I definitely noticed that you had more ketchup, and I thought that would be an obvious disadvantage, because there's corn syrup solids in the hot dogs, high fructose corn syrup in the bread.
I'll say you were completely right about that sugar rush. I felt like ass for the whole rest of the day.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what that is. We'll give a quick little health lesson there, which is that is an insulin spike that you were experiencing. Refined sugars, of course, are terrible for your insulin reaction. Whole grains give you a much milder insulin reaction, and that's why you feel much better long term if you eat whole grains and refined sugars. And that's why Matty Ice was feeling horrible, and probably your competitor even worse, because he wound up eating a lot more of that crap.
I kept scoping him. He was just sitting at his desk with a hood up.
All right. Well, anyway, that was very interesting, and I think Matty Guys had a sense that what he was doing was
a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah. Well, what he was doing was sacrificing his personal comfort for
science, really.
For the sake of quality videos, which I do on a daily basis, pretty much. All right. So everyone, a lot of comments on the hot dog eating contest, and they're all
somebody actually watched it.
Yeah, they're all, a lot of people seem to have liked it. They like your raw dog contest, your raw dog comment. The first comment, though, that I looked at and saw is from Jim Bean. Pomerantz is not shit. You're right, Pete. LOL. Yes, and we knew that. Matty Guys knew that as well.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so
Buck Farmer Day, because we need a replacement for Weaver.
So yeah, let's get into MLB today. I did go once again yesterday. I went 2-2, but it felt like a better day. I had a nice little close winner with the under in the Boston game, and then a nice winner with Tampa Bay, and then took 2 losses 2 ways with Colorado, which if they had been able to put up a couple runs in the extra innings would have turned into 2 winners.
I think you were prepared for that outcome.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit of a rough week. I've tried to play it cute a little bit and got a little bit burned on it. And I also was on the wrong side of a couple of bad breaks this week. So overall, it wasn't a great week, but hopefully I'll be able to bounce back. Now, looking over at the card today, the first things that jump out at me, and I had a little bit of a disagreement with Drew Martin about this yesterday, was Masahiro Tanaka, right? Now, Tanaka, Drew Martin seems to be somewhat high on him going forward, as we know if you look at his recent game results. 7 home runs in the last 2 games. They were wondering what's up with him. They gave him a full physical, supposedly found nothing wrong with him, but his results from the last 2 games have been horrific. Question is, what happens here against Oakland? And I am thinking that Tanaka probably more likely than not gets hit at least a little bit. I'm thinking about the Oakland team total over. Not exactly sure how I want to bet this one. I did bet the over a little bit, just at 9 on the opening line, and now I believe it's up to 9.5. Let me just quickly check here. Although the Greek does still have 9. Graveman might get hit a little bit. I'm leaning over, Matty Ice. What do you think, Matty Ice? Before I make a decision here, Matty Ice follows the Yankees closely. What?
Where was this game? Sorry.
It's at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, Yankee Stadium.
Oakland against Tanaka. Oakland, of course, had an off day. But
I don't trust Tanaka. I don't know. You said Drew was high on him recently?
Yeah, but I think Drew was not. That wasn't like a strong opinion. It was just a general opinion.
I got to, he brings a lot to the table. He's never quite been able to break through. It seems like he's always on the verge of injury.
Yes.
I never trusted him, and I would rarely bet on him. So if you're looking for an over end, Graveman, yeah.
Yes, and the issue with Graveman is just that he, can be okay a lot of the time. So I don't know if I want to take over 9, and the Oakland
9 is pretty high.
It is a little bit high because Tanaka might be okay. Even if Tanaka gets hit, Graveman, and then you have the Yankees bullpen. Graveman could easily come in, give up 6.
Could be a first 5 over.
Yeah, I was thinking about Oakland team total over at 4, and I was thinking about the over 9, which is currently -120 at the Greek. Does still have an over on that one. I'll make a decision on that one later. The other pick that I might give, I think I will give, is I bet the over 9 in Baltimore. Houston, it's now 9.5 at plus money. Most places market wide, but the Greek has 9 -125. That's Gossman against Musgrove. Both those guys have been vulnerable recently.
That I like a lot.
Yeah, we know that Houston, a lot of times at home, similar to Toronto, they feel like they're playing in a hitter-friendly park and have a huge offense, but a lot of times their home games tend to go over a little bit more often than at least I would eyeball. But I think that this game is probably a decent shot with the over, and I will give that one. I'll take the Greek line, over 9 -125 in Baltimore, Houston, Musgrove, and Goss.
I do like that one very much.
Yeah. Then the low-hanging fruit of the day might be, and I don't know if I'm just in some kind of like auto pick zone, fading Philadelphia on the second half. But regardless of that, they definitely have a bad bullpen, right?
Yes.
Crap bullpen and mediocre lineup. Yeah, except for yesterday, exactly. But they're playing Cincinnati today. Aaron Nola's starting, and he might have a good start, right?
I agree.
He came back from the disabled list and had a good start, and that might be
against Cincinnati.
Yeah, that might be likely to continue, and then Adelman on the other side likely to get hit a bit. But then I think that heading into the later parts of the game, Cincinnati should have a decided edge. So I will give this one as official pick for sure. Cincinnati second half -130, and that'll be an official pick there. Cincinnati second half -130. So that's a second official pick that I'm giving there. Cincinnati second half -130, and then let me look over what are the other bets that I made. Yeah, yesterday. I mean, gosh, it's just a lot of. I've been on Arizona a bunch of times. I gave Arizona -1 as a lean. That one cashed yesterday. Didn't have the balls to give it, and of course the huge no balls result of yesterday was not fading Bartolo Colon on Bartolo Colon day.
That was an early blow up. He gave up 5 in 3 innings, I think.
Yeah. If I had just given my leans first half and the -1, I'd be looking at 2 more units than I am right now. I'm still positive overall, but yeah, Not happy about my lack of balls on that one. Another interesting one that I did bet on the overnight, I bet the over 8 in Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Archer against Santiago. It's now 8.5, but I jumped on the over early when it was 8. And Archer obviously is great. He's likely to, get big strike, put up a big strikeout number on any given day, but he's not quite lights out. Sometimes he is, but more often than not, he gives up a few, sometimes gives up like 3 or 4. And Santiago's been coming way back down to earth, right? And a low total there at just 8. So I did hit the over 8 when it was 8 on the overnight line. And let me see where the total is now. It's now 8.5 everywhere. Yeah, there's no 8s anywhere. So I'm thinking about, I'd probably have a lean to the 8.5, to the over at 8.5 anyway. More down on Santiago than I am on Archer, but definitely Cincinnati has shown that they can hit, and Archer has shown that he can get hit even when he's getting strikeouts. So, I guess I'd have a lean to the Tampa Bay team total over, lean to the over at 8.5. That's an interesting matchup there. And again, I did bet the over when it was 8, and if it was still 8 right now, no question, it would be a pick. Other interesting games on today's card. Let's see. Junior Guerra, the guy that I mentioned last week, is back from the disabled list. He has a calf injury. His rehab starts reportedly went fine, and he's going to be starting up against Godley, and Godley is starting for Arizona. Godley is a guy who is looking in general pretty promising going forward. His 2 starts ago, he had a bunch of walks. His last start, I think he had no strikeouts. But in general, he's a guy who I'm looking for decent things from going forward at the least. And again, Arizona and Milwaukee, 2 of the top 3 teams in baseball in terms of MLB, in terms of ROI right now. But going forward, I'm definitely higher on Arizona than I am on Milwaukee. I do expect Arizona to continue to be profitable. Milwaukee, maybe not. Ryan Braun is out. Not that that's that means something, but in general, I'm looking for Milwaukee to possibly be negative going forward, and definitely to be less positive than they have been going forward. So,
are there any factors that really stand out in that decision making?
Factors?
Yeah, just like a big for Milwaukee specifically.
Mostly some sabermetric stats. That's what that mostly is all about. Milwaukee. That's what that is. So I did bet Arizona on the overnight, and I didn't beat. I got a worse line than is around right now. I got Arizona at -101. They're now a small dog, market wide. So, and I understand that because Guerra, obviously, when he was good in the majors, he was very good, and we don't know what we're going to get from him. His minor league rehab starts were supposedly good. So Guerra might come in here and, give you 6 or 7 shutout innings and shut Arizona down. So I'm going to stay off of that one. I can understand why the line moved in Milwaukee's favor. But again, in general, I think I'm higher on Arizona going forward than I am on Milwaukee. Not that I expect Milwaukee to be a good fade going forward, but I'm not nearly as high on them as I am on Arizona going forward. All right. Other games that are interesting. Well, they're all kind of interesting. Again, Perdomo against Scherzer. I'm not sure what I think about this because Scherzer has not really been lights out, and obviously he's a big favorite most of his starts. Do you know what
we talked about yesterday?
I'm sorry?
Has any pitcher been really lights out this year? This is a year of the hitter. Year.
Yes, and the pitchers who have been lights out have been like Irvin Santana and like Vargas and like guys like that who
you always have a few of those guys every year. So
yeah, kind of unexpectedly, Washington, despite their big lineup, is only 5-5 in Scherzer's starts this year. And his 10 starts are only 5-5, right? Now, Perdomo on the other side is a guy who throws hard, gets a lot of grounders, also got absolutely lit the F up in his last start. So he's very, very, very big question mark here. But still, I'm just not sure that Washington with Scherzer should be -240 against anyone, even against San Diego, even with Perdomo starting.
So you're more inclined to bet on a bounce back by somebody who gets lit up, or for them to continue usually?
Well, with Perdomo, if it's someone like, if it's someone who's reliable, like
Greinke gets hit every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. With someone like Perdomo, especially since he had shoulder issues earlier this year, you really don't know what to expect from him. He's still throwing hard. He's still getting a lot of ground outs. And when he first came back from his shoulder injury, he had a string of good starts. My sense is that Perdomo probably does get hit here. But my sense is also that Scherzer gives up a couple runs himself as well. And that is why I did bet the over on the overnight. I took 8. It's now down to 7.5. But yeah, I would be leaning over here, despite the fact that San Diego is obviously has a chintzy lineup. But at 7.5, if Perdomo gets lit up again, Washington could take care of that on their own, right? If Scherzer comes in and once again, gets 10 strikeouts but gives up 3 runs, your 7.5 is again looking very good. And also, if Scherzer only goes 5 or 6 innings, we know that Washington's bullpen is vulnerable, right? So a lot of reasons to be liking the 7.5 here. That would be a pretty big balls play, though, considering it's Scherzer against San Diego lineup. Let me check what the Washington team total over is. I'm assuming it's 4.5, pretty heavily juiced. It's 4.5 minus 107. Not that heavily juiced. All right, I'll make a decision on that one later. I did bet the over 8, and I would have to. I did not beat the line move. The line moved against me, but the way things have gone this year, that's a good sign, right? I've beaten a bunch of totals moves by a half run over the past 2 weeks, and they lost most of the time. So maybe the fact that I missed the line move on this one by a half run is a good sign. All right, so far I've given Cincinnati second half, and I've given Houston, Baltimore over 9. And I'm looking at fading Tanaka one way or another here with totals. I'm looking at maybe taking the over 7.5 in San Diego, Washington, and what else? And I'm definitely leaning over in Tampa Bay, Minnesota as well. Again, I bet that one on the overnight at 8, and more. I'm looking to fade Santiago more than Archer, so maybe Tampa Bay on the team total over. Although that was 4.5 is also something to think about. St. Louis and Colorado is also a tricky game. Vaguely leaning under on that one. Senzatella, though, as you see with a lot of rookies, had a string of excellent starts to start the year. Now he's coming crashing way back down to earth. And then Martinez on the other side is another guy who has great stuff. His last start was awesome, but he had control issues in the beginning of the year, and those could easily creep back at any time.
So you're looking for 2 volatile young pitchers.
Yeah, so it's yeah.
That's good. I like this.
I'm sorry.
I like that.
I'd still be leaning under at 10.5. But both Senzatella and Martinez made me a little bit nervous in this start at Coors. And then Arrieta Wood, I had a good call on the Dodgers last night on -1, although I only gave that one in the Big Man Show on Wednesday night and didn't have the balls to give it as a pick or even as a lean. But Arrieta and Wood here, I would have to be leaning on the under, even though Arrieta, his last start was good, but before that he was very questionable. But Wood has been awesome. Wood has been flat out awesome. Right?
We're getting a lot of questions about that game too. So glad. Yeah, Wood's been fantastic.
So the big question here is what you're going to get from Arrieta. If Arrieta gets hit, then the Dodgers are going to be a great bet.
Which is crazy to even say out loud.
Yeah, but if Arrieta has a good game, then the under 7.5.
Arrieta stinks on the road. Juan says it stinks. I don't know, but so much. Not as effective. Yeah.
I would definitely say that long term, over the next 10 or 15 starts for Arrieta, I'd be looking him to underperform expectations, looking for him to maybe get hit a little bit more than people are expecting. That's a tough game. Again, I might get back to a really giving just a few official plays a day, just to make sure that I don't start hemorrhaging units.
Go on with the Dookie emojis. Not high on what's his name?
On who? Senzatella?
No.
Who?
Oh God. Doesn't matter. I can't remember anything this morning. Arrieta.
Not high on Arrieta. Yeah. Neither am I long term. In this start, it might be a little bit different just because Arrieta is coming off of a nice result. But so yeah, I might take the Dodgers here. Let me see what the line is here. The line is here. Yeah, it's a modest line, minus 130 approximately for the Dodgers. So that's somewhat tempting to take the Dodgers here, to take a shot with them on the -1 line. I might throw that one in there as a lean. Wood has been absolutely awesome. All right, so far, all I've given is 2 picks: Baltimore, Houston over 9 at the Greek, and Cincinnati on the second half, -130 against Philadelphia once again, fading Philadelphia in the second half. All right, so let's get to some of the comments here. First, I'm seeing John Carey saying, "Don't get cute with the picks, Pete." Yeah, I got to not get cute with the picks. Take first halves and second halves. I really like them, and go with my solid leans that I'm liking on the sides and the totals that in general have done pretty well for me this year. Don't get cute with the picks. All right. I'm going to try not to. Okay, let me see. What other comments do we have?
I'm just picturing you doing your picks now with like water wings on and like a little, like a tiara.
That is what I do. Okay, Dan Kelly saying Farmer Pelfrey has to go over, and that is also what I was thinking. That is, I believe, the first game in the Detroit White Sox doubleheader. There were no overnight lines for that. of course. So so I didn't make any bets on that. There were no overnight lines. The total is 9.5. You would think that it has to go over. I'm going to hold off on that for now. Again, doubleheaders can be very tricky. There can be last-minute lineup changes. So I'm going to hold off on a pick and definitely on a bet for that one. But obviously, Pelfrey is a guy who can get hit in a major way. And I'm definitely leaning Detroit in the first game and White Sox in the second game. Boyd is a lefty. We know that the White Sox hit lefties well. They know they hit lefties well. And Boyd is a guy who's been very vulnerable recently. And on the other side, we got this guy Danish, who is a youngster. He's getting called up, and he almost made the opening day roster for the White Sox. And at AAA, he had some nice results. He doesn't miss a lot of bats, as they say, which is a little bit concerning. So he could get hit, but he did get some decent results in the minors. Did get almost make the opening day roster. And again, Boyd is a little bit
better for those fringe guys to do their extended spring training. I think it's sometimes better for those young fringe guys to get the extended spring training, stretch out a little bit more, not get brought up right in the beginning of the season.
Yes, I would agree with that. And right now, the White Sox are a small underdog in Game 2, and Detroit is a small favorite in Game 1. So I would definitely be leaning Detroit in Game 1 and the White Sox in Game 2. And what the hell, I might actually wind up giving one or both of those as a pick before this show is over. But despite not knowing what the lineups are, but yeah, Detroit on the run line might be a good play in the opening game, and maybe even the White Sox.
We got a few questions on the Periscope end from Gucci. Boston on the run line and Texas on the second half money line.
Okay, Boston on the run line. That is definitely an interesting one. Obviously, Seattle finally scored more than one run in a game in their last game, and they got a win. Rodriguez has definitely been picking it up, as we know. 4 straight excellent starts on the road. Now he comes back home. Will a change of scenery be a little bit, shake him up a little bit? Maybe. Will Seattle's lineup continue to be productive? I have to assume that going forward they're going to start to pick it up offensively. And then Gallardo on the other side, I'm kind of down on him going forward. So yeah, Boston on the run line might be worth a shot. I'm leaning Seattle on this one, but I might be very wrong on that one. And I was also thinking about Seattle on the second half, despite the fact that Boston does have Kimbrel to close things out. Seattle on the second half is one way I'm thinking about. And at that big of an underdog line, I would have to be leaning Seattle here, despite the fact that Rodriguez is coming off of 4 great road starts. He might come back here and have a little bit more of a clunker. And Seattle's offense, I have to assume they're going to start to pick it up, but they definitely were on an extended run of futility very recently.
So. Like that extended run of futility.
Yeah. So no, I would be leaning at the current underdog line, Seattle, and I would be leaning Seattle on the second half. But that's a very, very, very lukewarm lean. That's a gun to the head type lean, and I might be way wrong on that one. Okay.
Anytime, Gucci.
Yes. Pitts without Andrew McCutchen. Great. Andrew McCutchen
talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, and he was also out the day before. So I don't even know if maybe he's benched. If a 200 hitter is out, is that like a big deal on the lines? Maybe. DeGrom, yes. Matthew was making comments about DeGrom having a blister on his finger. You know how I feel about those blister issues.
We talked about that yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. So and Cool has been pitching well. So he's been pitching well in half of his games. He's also had control issues in half the games. So this is another tricky one. At the current odds, plus 130 for Pittsburgh, I would be leaning Pittsburgh there, despite the fact that McCutchen is out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Despite the fact that McCutchen is out, I would be leaning Pittsburgh at those odds. Cool may very well be able to match DeGrom or even outpitch DeGrom. And if DeGrom does have a blister injury, a blister issue on his finger, I would not at all be surprised if we see DeGrom pulled in the second inning.
Yeah, we do see that, these guys trying to fight through, and then you get that little trickle of blood. Time to go.
Would not be surprised if DeGrom throws a shutout first inning and then is gone by the second. That's what you tend to see sometimes with with guys with blisters. Okay.
Try to remember.
Jim Bean says Toronto wins today. Fade Griffin. He has been lucky this year and he doesn't throw hard. Yeah, I'm leaning Toronto in the series. In fact, I think I'm leaning more towards them on the Sunday game and on the Saturday game than here tonight, because Bolsinger is also a liability on the mound, and it's a big line. Now, if Toronto was minus 115 or minus 120, then I'd probably be giving them as a pick. Right now, though, they're up there in the minus 140s. So as questionable as Griffin is, not sure I want to back Toronto with Bolsinger at minus 140.
I am all staying away from Toronto these days.
Yeah.
I do not want any part of that. What's that?
I was telling people to jump in and join this contest.
Yes, well, this is another thing we have. I noticed this yesterday. I forgot to mention this to you. On the contest that we have at sbrcontest.com for the June bet points in the MLB, we have one single comment, and it's shit talking you.
Really?
So
okay,
far, the
listen.
very first comment. What was it?
But like, it's hard for me to.
It just says, "Bring it on, pistol."
Okay, I mean, it's hard for me to. It's hard for me to shit talk.
Oh boy. Okay. Injurious. Thank you.
If someone shit talks you and you agree with their assessment, it's hard to give a rebuttal. You know what I mean? It's fake. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if someone says, I'm going to dominate you in this contest, and you agree that they are probably more likely than not going to dominate me in this contest, what am I supposed to say back? You know? I'm not going to pretend to disagree with them. All right, here we got some other interesting comments.
What are you talking about?
Nicholas Susi says, high strikeout pitchers tend to do well in Coors. Yes. And obviously Martinez gets his strikeouts.
I think high strikeout pitchers tend to do well anywhere.
Yes. High strikeout pitchers tend to do well in Coors. I'm guessing that high walk pitchers tend to do shitty in Coors. And Martinez, again, he appears in the short term to have fixed his control issues from early on in the year. But control issues like that can pop up at any time, especially when a guy goes on the road into Coors. So that game is is kind of a tricky one. Let me see. Other comments here. It's hard for me to bet against Pittsburgh right now. Yeah, I agree with that. At the current line of Pittsburgh as a home dog of plus 130, I would probably be leaning that way.
All right, now let's think about this, right? You said they're at home, correct?
I'm sorry? Yes.
Pittsburgh's at home?
Yes.
And the Penguins just got into the Stanley Cup last night. So do we have like a city morale boost?
There are some people who would feel that way. In baseball, my sense is that baseball is a sport that is particularly immune to those kinds of things, but maybe not. Yeah. In general, I'm not taking the Mets here with that bullpen. DeGrom with a blister injury and as a road favorite. I would definitely be leaning Pittsburgh, and actually that might wind up making an official lean for me. Because
did that put you over the edge?
Yeah, maybe. Matthew says looking for Astros to sweep Baltimore. Yes, I am high on the Astros. Again, I think I'm much higher on them on the Saturday and Sunday pitching matchups than I am on tonight's game. Tonight's game, though, I did make the over, an official pick on that one. Bobby saying Pitts are playing really well. Yes, they are.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you could bet ahead of time on the series to be a sweep, correct?
On this ahead of time to be a sweep, I don't think you can, but you can easily do that yourself just a game. Just by martingaling the entire series. So it's easy to do. Let's see. Keuchel just had a crick in his neck. He's fine and will pitch great tomorrow. Yes, I'm looking for Dallas. I'm wondering what the line will be with Keuchel against Miley tomorrow, but definitely looking to fade Miley once again at Houston tomorrow. Nathan Wilson says St. Louis at Colorado under 10.5. Yes. That's the way I was leaning as well. That's the way I'm feeling. I mentioned my causes for concern, though. Senzatella definitely coming back down to earth, and Carlos Martinez with some control issues looming at all times, in my opinion. Bobby says Boston looks like an easy pick. Maybe, yes. Rodriguez has been good this year, but I'm just not sure that I want to take Boston in general as that big of a favorite tonight. But yes. You guys might be right, and I might be wrong. With the Houston series at Miami, they were an easy pick in all of those games recently, and I was not on any of them. So Boston might be an easy pick, and I might just not be seeing it. Okay.
Seems we have a new commenter on the YouTube channel with the name Low Hanging Fruit.
Nice. Good.
Some sage advice.
Yeah. I don't know. The Low Hanging Fruit has lost 2 games in a row.
No, we had a push and a loss. Don't sell yourself short.
Is that true?
Yes.
No, I think I had 2 losses in a row because yesterday.
Oh, sorry. It was push, loss. That's okay.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, right. Anyway, Jason Brooms saying, how about Yankees run line? I like Tanaka to step up here. They know they need him, and he's been very reliable in a Yankee uniform. Yes, it's an educated guess as to what to expect from Tanaka going forward, an educated guess as to whether he does have an injury or not, an educated guess as to what has been causing his recent struggles, but more than struggles, his recent horrific abominations.
Yeah, I mean, look, he didn't start the season off on a high note.
Right.
He walked out of opening day with a 54 ERA.
Yeah, so my guess is that, again, I bet the over on that one. My guess is that more likely than not, Tanaka struggles. Obviously, if he has a shutout start, that would not surprise me or anyone. But no, I'm not really liking the Yankees here at that line. And again, I did bet the over on the opening line. Harper gets one tonight against Perdomo. That might be true. A home run prop for Brian Harper.
I love those props.
Yes. Brian Harper to get a home run against Perdomo may very much be a good prop bet to make.
Let's see. Cleveland on the money line.
Cleveland on the money line. That is the Kennedy and Clevenger game. Yeah, Yes. Kennedy obviously had a crappy start in his last one, and KC, again, what to make of them as a big road underdog. For now, I'm not a believer in KC, even as a big road underdog, and Cleveland, despite the fact they still haven't quite put together the winning streak that I'm expecting them to go on, the winning run. Yes, I would be leaning Cleveland here, on the run line for sure. I don't think I'm going to make it an official pick. Again, that's also one that didn't have an overnight line, so I didn't have a chance to bet it or give a hard opinion on the odds. I'm just seeing now what the odds are for that one. They're in the 160s, minus 160s as a favorite. That's Cleveland. Let's see. Other comments here. A lot of people, everyone talking about Dallas Keuchel. I don't know why he's not.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments over here about that also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know why either.
I'm expecting Keuchel to at least be significantly better than Will Meyer. I mean, Will Meyer than Miley. I think that either Keuchel gets hit a little and Miley gets crushed, or Miley has an okay start and Keuchel has a 7-inning one-run start. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? I'm just looking at some of the old comments from today. A lot of comments. Everyone's talking about San Diego does suck. Yes, San Diego does suck. A lot of people agreeing that Washington as a big favorite is overvalued and they wouldn't want to take it. Let me see. Other comments. Wow, a ton of comments on Washington. Wow, Iceman89. Here's a comment from Iceman89. Fuck Washington. Inconsistent, no bullpen, go broke betting on them. Yeah, well, Washington has actually been slightly profitable on the year overall. They're definitely treacherous as they are today because they are a big favorite more often than not. And again, in Scherzer starts, classic Washington results. He often does have good starts, often does get 10 strikeouts in 6 innings, but they're only 5-5 in his starts. So in general, I would agree with Iceman89's comment here. Fuck Washington, inconsistent, no bullpen. Yes, their bullpen is a big liability. Go broke betting on them. Overall, they've been profitable, but yeah, they might be negative going forward for sure. Would not be surprised if Washington is actually has a significant negative ROI next month. We'll see. Okay, Armin Hinjosa says thanks for the Boston versus Texas under yesterday. Again, in general, my totals plays tend to be much better than my other plays, so keep that in mind to all of the regular viewers. The Rockies were 9-0 in one-run games till yesterday. That's true. That's a comment from Nicholas Susi. Man, if they just put up a couple runs in extra innings, I would be looking at a 4-0 day right now instead of a 2-2 day. Unreal. Tragic. Unreal. Okay. Other comments. Jim Bean saying hammer Washington and Boston hard. Jim Bean, not to look. I put my I give all my honest opinions and I own it when I'm wrong. And Jim Bean is also the guy who said Pomerantz sucks. Pomerantz is trash. Yeah. So Jim Bean, the guy who labeled Pomerantz as trash yesterday, also gives the opinion to hammer Washington and Boston hard today. Maybe he's right.
It's a popular opinion on the chat I'm looking at too.
What, to hammer what?
Both of them.
I can understand why. Perdomo got pounded in his last start, and San Diego's lineup sucks, and Seattle's been more than futile on the road over the past week or so. So I can understand why. I'm not going to be doing either one of those things, and I might be wrong here. Okay. Other comments. Pete, do you trust D's today? Can't decide. Who is D's? The Diamondbacks? He spelled it like they spell D's nuts. D-E-E-Z.
I was waiting for that.
D's? Oh, oh God, he tried to fuck. Oh, motherfucker. Motherfucker. Hey, Iceman89, fuck you. You got me. Yes, you got me. You got me. Cocksucker.
He's nuts.
Fuck you. You got me, Iceman89. You got me. You got me. Good one.
Thank you for
Good
that,
one.
Iceman.
Nice one. I guarantee you now there's going to be 10 These Nuts comments every day for the next week
awesome.
trying to get me. Good job. Good job, Iceman89. Good job, Iceman. Actually, he posted twice, so he was trying to get me. All right. Nice job, 89. Matthew says, don't trust Tanaka. Yes, some people are trusting Tanaka. Some people are not. I'm on the side that is not trusting Tanaka. Dale04 says, low-hanging fruit must be Red Sox run line. Could be. Could be. I'm just at the current line. I'm not gonna take it. Rodriguez has been great on the road, but that does not necessarily mean he's going to be great, overall going forward. Although he might be. I might have a different opinion on that one coming up later. But at the current lines, I'm staying off of it. Okay. Let's see. Other comments. Texas first 5 team total over 2. Sure. Some people do have a team total overs for the first 5. Some books do, and I could certainly see that. Other comments. Let me just zoom up to the first comment. Let's see.
That's true. On the Red Sox, I'm like, the Red Sox have been hitting much better lately.
Steven Stucci saying, speed it up. I'm on coffee. I understand, Steven. Yes, yes. Let's see. Dale 04 saying, good afternoon from a rarely sunny Newcastle. Newcastle on Tyne is where Dale 04 is regular commenter. Newcastle on Tyne, fun place to live for sure, especially if you're young and attractive and in shape and have a little bit of money in your pocket. So, shout out to Dale 04, Newcastle on Tyne. Appreciate the comment.
So specific.
Yes, you know, yeah, you got to have at least 3 of those 4, preferably 4 of those 4. All right. A lot of people asking for low-hanging fruit of the day. I don't know. John Carey saying, Pete, next hot dog contest, you got to fly out BMOC. That's low-hanging fruit joke of the day. All right. Okay. Yeah. Got to fly. And maybe I'll try to do a Chris Christie impression while I'm hosting the next one. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good job. No, listen, if you want to grab the low-hanging fruit jokes, by all means, yes. Lauren Sturcio, BMOC would be a big favorite, -200. Okay. Yes, definitely. Sure. There you go. All right. Other comments. Let's go back down.
He doesn't seem the type that would even eat a hot dog, honestly.
Yeah,
he's a smart guy.
He seems vegan to me, quite honestly. Yes, yes.
No, he is.
He seems. Yeah, I think it's mostly.
We might have to do like Caesar salads or something.
Yeah, I think most of his bigness comes from. I think most of his bigness
I would
comes.
enjoy that much better.
Yeah, comes from muscle. Let's see. Australia has been good lately. Be careful. Steven Succi saying Astros team total over, low hanging fruit. Maybe so. Yes, I'm on the over on that game in general. Let's see. Iceman 89 asked a question about BABIP and luck. BAB, a batting average on balls in play and luck. I have a lot of opinions on that one. Actually, the very first video I ever did here at SBR 10 years ago was about batting average on balls in play. And I've developed my opinions on that statistic and how relevant it is. It's obviously
to find that video.
It's obviously I think it was deleted. It's obviously it was on the old channel, but it's obviously a major luck indicator. The question is how big of a luck indicator it is, and is it a different indicator for different pitchers from pitcher to pitcher and from batter to batter and from team to team? Are there some teams that have more control over, are there some pitchers, sorry, who have more control over their batting average on balls in play than other pitchers? And that's something that still gets debated to this day. I think is yes.
I'm sorry? I think the answer there is yes.
Well,
that's
yes.
what makes it very difficult to apply on a daily basis.
It's pretty clear that there is at least a teeny bit of control that some pitchers have over their batting average on balls in play. It's just a matter of how much control do they have.
Bowls of salad in 3 minutes. That's got to be gross. My brother went on a vegetarian diet. And
I'm sorry, what?
My brother went on a vegetarian diet once, and he just would eat like lettuce and stuff, cucumbers all the time. And he would stink up the whole bottom floor of our house.
Really?
After using up the bathroom. Yeah. So
wow.
After eating 20 bowls of salad, God knows what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Protein powder and like Caesar salads and broccoli.
Sure. Sounds good. Sounds good. Pete, who is your favorite SBR coworker at SBR? From Zach Jones. That would be Zach Jones, of course. Low-hanging fruit comment joke there from me. And let's see. Low-hanging fruit commenter asking, I need a WNBA selection. I've actually been doing well in WNBA this year, but they're really holding off on overnight lines for the WNBA. So there are a bunch of games today. None of them had overnight lines. So I can't comment on current betting value with the WNBA because I haven't been able to look at the lines. I have not seen the lines yet. There were no overnight lines for any of the games today, but I'm definitely doing okay in WNBA so far. Let's see. All right. I guess that's about it. I got to make some final decisions on these leans that I've given. As of right now, I've only given 2 picks, and the low-hanging fruit play of the day is Cincinnati second half against Philadelphia. Who cares? That's the 4th time I've used fading Philadelphia on the second half as a low-hanging fruit play of the day, and that's going to stop next week. But why not just cap off the week on Friday here with yet another fade of Philly on the second half? That'll be low-hanging fruit of the day. I've given just 2 plays. Again, my leans would be Tampa Bay, Minnesota over at 8.5 even. My leans would be the lean would be Pittsburgh at plus 130 against the Mets. That'll definitely be a lean. Lean would be St. Louis and Colorado at under 10.5. Again, lean would be Tampa Bay, Minnesota over, and lean would be Detroit on the first. Detroit -1 in the opening game of the doubleheader, and then White Sox on the small home underdog line in the second game of the doubleheader, but I can't give either one of those as a pick right now. I have to check the lineups and look into them a little bit more, but I'm probably going to be betting both of those. And maybe I'll just stick with 2 picks tonight. What do you think about that, Matty Ice?
I think that's a very good idea.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Exclusivity.
Yeah. And another lean, obviously, is Oakland and the Yankees on the over. Possibly Tanaka comes back here and has a good start, but I'm leaning over on that one. So I'm going to just stick with 2 picks. Cincinnati on the second half and Baltimore-Houston over 9, but a lot of leans. I'll go over the leans again. First game, Detroit -1. That's a lean. Moving on down the line, Pittsburgh as a home underdog at +130. That's a lean. Yankees and Oakland over. That is definitely a lean. I believe a 9 is still available. What other leans do I have? The White Sox on the second game as a small home underdog. That's a lean. Tampa Bay, Minnesota to the over. That's a lean. St. Louis, Colorado to the under 10.5. That's a lean. And that'll be it for the leans right now. It's a lot of leans. And just 2 picks. Low-hanging fruit of the day. Once again, kind of weak. Fading Philadelphia on the second half. But maybe I'll cash with that one today. Just 2 picks today. A whole bunch of leans. And I guess that is about it.
One last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the designs for the T-shirts that we're giving away?
No, I have not. Oh, let me ask you about that. Yeah. So is it going to mess everything up if I shave? Because I'm seriously thinking about doing it very soon.
Tinder saved it.
Yeah. Well, not Tinder. Yeah, Tinder and other women, and it's leaning that way.
It's fine.
All right. Okay.
Trim for the trim, man. I'm on board.
Yeah, and I can grow. This takes me 3 weeks. I can grow this.
You can't grow a woman, so
I can.
Well, I don't think you can wait that long.
Yeah.
It starts June 1st.
Okay.
When's that?
In like less than a week.
All right.
Charles Darwin says lots of leans and few plays is the way it should be. Charles Darwin, obviously, probably a guy who is one of
Smart.
these probably an atheist reason reader and a believer in So listen.
He also was our commenter of the day yesterday. If you
Really?
were on Twitter, Charles Darwin, you can check it out.
Josh Miller says, "Don't shave it, Pete. It's an iconic look." But I said that to the girl that I'm thinking about having dinner with after I shave it, and she said, "Peter, you're not a clown. You don't lose your personality after you take off your red nose."
You know, yesterday was National Red Nose Day too. I thought it was very funny. That's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Oof, that was a harsh comment when she said, "You're not a clown. Your identity isn't wrapped up in your red nose and your clown makeup." And I was like, man, that is true.
I think she's just belittling you.
No, she made a good point. She made a good point.
Because that suggests that we have something to do with the reason you have a mustache.
Yeah. Robinson Jepez says, "Don't change for a woman, man." You're right. In general, that always winds up as a bad move.
Well, on the short term, it might be
short term, it can be right. If you're doing it strategically, right. In the short term,
if you have an end game.
Exactly. As long as you don't hand over your balls to her in a little box with an electric shock machine hooked up to it, and then you're okay.
Some guys like that.
Yeah, some guys do like it. Not myself. I liked it when I was 15 years old and I learned my lesson real fucking quick. All right, that's about it.
It's a story for another day.
Justin Searcy says, "Just shave it down a little." I have a feeling that that won't get the job done either. But all right, that just about does it. A lot of leans today. I've given opinions on all the games, and I have just 2 picks today for official purposes. But we are going to be taking an early look at the NBA Game 1 lines later on today. So look for that. And I forgot what else is going on today. Oh, but I will be on the Big Man on Campus show tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And I will, at that point, also be able to share my overnight bets that I've made on the Saturday card for MLB. So tune into the show tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time with Jeff from BMOCWins.com. And I will have my Saturday overnight plays, which, again, have been pretty good, at least as far as beating the closing line is concerned. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for all the likes. Don't forget about the MLB contest at Sportsbook Reviewed at SBRForum.com.